time. I didn't think it was possible that the car blows up.
Like how it just disappears.
Yeah. Especially on that one jump. I think I died first on a jump. And it just didn't make it over. Didn't think that was possible.
So sorry, you have to interview yourself if no one is asking you questions because I have to set up the next race.
Yeah, don't worry.
But yeah, this was you're still alive. Kind of a stacked. Two old boys duking it out. Speaking of stacked matches, you move on to fight Pufferfish King in Losers 2.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm just happy that I didn't go out 0-2 again. It's been a while, but yeah, always good to avoid that. It was almost 2 GBA games this time. It got me.
Yeah, I know. Well, this one's better than the first.
Yeah, this is a lot more playable. You also don't lose as much progress, even if you die right at the end. I think I finished one with 0 seconds and it didn't give it to me. I was pretty sad. But I barely got it another couple times, so I kind of made the time good.
Yeah, the game's neat. The PS2 version is really cool as well. I watched Jal play it, and it's like way funnier because you also get to watch your movie after.
Yeah.
So it's just, you get to see yourself.
The funny part is if the bomb explodes like a mile in front of you, and it's supposed to be right next to you.
You fail like 3 missions ahead.
Yeah, I think if you want to go fast in the first few missions, you just ignore half of the objectives. I think I was doing way too many, just to be safe. Like sometimes you try to catch a jump, and it just doesn't work out, and you should have just driven by.
Yeah. Especially on the one where you chase the car. There's that jump in the end and also the action button on the ice. And just skipping that just almost makes sense because you want to catch up to the car instead.
Yeah, I considered the action button too on the ice, because you could cut that corner closer.
TBC, I cannot find this game. Can you find box art for this? I have no idea what this game even is.
There's no box art for this. This is a scripted collection that I made.
Oh.
I can find a box art for you, don't worry.
Yeah, what Cine is saying in chat is also true. The 90-degree turns
They never
are sometimes pretty hard to get.
Yeah, it's
like
very
have to-
wonky.
You basically have to hold the button until it gives it to you. Even if you already had the turn and you lose more speed by holding it, you have to hold it.
Yeah, I noticed the same when I played it.
Also, some cars, I'm pretty sure I passed on the right side and it just didn't give it to me. It might have been a case of where you're so fast or slow that the cars don't appear in the right order.
That would be interesting to fail a mission because you were fast in this game.
Yeah,
That would just be like, you're way too cool at this game.
Yeah, in the one chase I was so close to the car that I rammed it on the jump.
Alright, thank you very much. I gotta talk about the next racers.
Alright, thank you, and good luck to the next racers.
Yeah, congrats on your win. Alright, so this next one is a double. On the left we have Fullalizards, very good player. Has joined a lot of MT, has won a lot of MT. Well, not MT themselves. Best placement was second, but a lot of MT matches. Against BeoKirby, who's new, and right now is sitting at a 0-1. Yeah. Lost Pocket Bomberman in a very exciting race against Xel. And Fullalizards lost in Loop Loop DX, which was a game with a very punishing game over.
Yeah, this is... recent history has not been so kind of... went 0-2 in 15, I believe. And I believe didn't do that well in 14. But I mean, this is still a top-level player. Those stars don't lie. Let's see if I can find free sheet. Yeah, went 0-2 in 14 and 1-2 in 15. But I mean, a second place finish.
Second and third team.
Yeah.
Like,
Second is no position to scoff
yeah,
at.
he's gotten second twice.
And then we have a second match, which is Brossentia versus Pieper? Who knows?
It's Pieper.
Pieper.
Well, maybe it's German and it's Pieper.
I'm pretty sure it's Pieper.
It's definitely
So
Pieper.
I'm pretty sure
Brossentia,
Pieper is American.
Brossentia 6th edition has joined since MTX. And all of them, I think. Yeah, all of them. Got 64th in MT14. 410 win-lose ratio. Like, not great, but also not bad. Has played a lot of games, and obviously the organizer of So Grande, so knows very much about how to go fast in games.
That's a strong statement.
Yeah, he will even readily admit that he's really bad at Kusoge, but he knows a lot about them.
Oh, he knows everything.
And then we have some matches for these players too. Both matches are losers one match, so we're going to be saying goodbye to 2 racers with this game. Brossentia playing Otsumu, the forklift simulator, against Okami of Games, and Pieper playing...
Just giving them any Kuso game.
Yeah, Kuso team kill.
That's a pretty big Kuso team kill.
And Pieper playing Frame of Mind, which I can't place right now.
Incomprehensible anti-chamber puzzle game.
Oh yeah, I heard about that, I didn't see it.
It was a double as well.
I haven't played a single game this mystery tournament other than Farming Remedy, so...
It was, if you played anti-chamber, it
I haven't. I've been so busy for the past couple months. I have had nothing.
well, anti-chamber is pretty old, so...
Just, you know, give me like 2 more months. Maybe I'll be back to normal.
And Shishiba is good.
Yeah, it's really good. I never finished it.
TPC, how's learning your game for Speedomizer?
I haven't started.
I
have a GDQ run on Wednesday.
That's
I've been worrying
also
about that.
Alright, we have a game. The game is...
We have a mini-game.
It's several games, yeah. It's SEGA Racing Real-Time Attack, made by TPC. So tell us...
This is a scripted collection of 4 Sega arcade games. I looked through every single arcade Sega game that is on the Sega Model 2, and I looked for console ports of them, and these were the only 4 that had them. Uh-oh. Wait. Did BeoKirby not even load the script? Did they not read the paste bin? I don't see my splash screen.
Well, here we go.
Great start.
BeoKirby's just playing Sega Rally or whatever it is.
This is Daytona.
Oh, I should have known that. I know that game.
this. Well,
It's Sega Racing.
Alright, we have one match going on. Brossentia versus Pieper.
and then another match which is
Yeah, the other match, we'll get there. Fine.
PVC will deal with that.
Let me stretch a bit.
I don't know how good Brossentia and Pieper are at racing games. Pieper did pretty okay when he was racing in Seasons, playing Crash Team Racing, but that's a little bit different from a very straightforward racing game.
Yeah, these are all different arcade racers. Okay, BeoKirby is getting a supposedly 1-minute retime. Okay,
We'll get there. It's fine.
The screen pops up and then it just exits. So yeah, we're playing through Daytona right now. This bike and bigger tour.
TPC,
But,
TPC,
yeah,
your
it's racing.
mic is cutting out.
Yeah,
We
you're
cannot hear you.
cutting in and out.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
But yeah,
with
I know this
Discord.
game. This is an arcade game, and it's pretty cool in the arcade because when you have like 8 machines next to each other, they make like one big screen or something. I know this, and there's one screen in the middle above the arcade machines where you can see like the placement of everyone and stuff like that. Pretty cool. There's a group at Gamescom.
So Brossentia is in a pit stop?
Oh, this is bad. I don't think he wants to be in a
Yeah,
pit
you
spot.
don't want to do that.
How did Brossentia end up at the pit stop?
Okay, BeoKirby is getting a 2-minute retime now. I saw the little splash screen. I saw the like race counter. Should be right. But yeah, you don't want to go into the pit. It's pretty slow. It does actually repair your car. Your car starts to slow down if you don't go that fast.
I mean, maybe it's a good play, but that did. Brossentia was in the lead and now is behind.
Yeah, you shouldn't need it. This is just gonna take some solid racing. I was really scared that this wouldn't work, so it looks like it's working already, which is more than I could have hoped for. This was a complete nightmare to set up.
Actually, maybe Brossentia wasn't in there. It's just streamed delay. 'Cause I'm looking at the times across the board, and Pieper is definitely ahead, like even lap to lap. Okay, oh no, Brossentia goes in the first person, which I prefer for these kinds of racing games.
Yeah, the Saturn version of this isn't the well, it's not as good as the arcade, obviously, but like it's still a good one. Little trivia about this game because we're just gonna be watching racing. Daytona was one of like the really early Saturn games. It had a port to the Saturn, Daytona USA. Except it was like infamously bad. Like it was just a really awful port. So Sega actually released a second port, which is this one, Daytona USA Championship Circuit Edition, which like tried to fix everything. The original port is like so awful that like everybody just plays this. And that becomes a common theme because this is not the only game in this collection that had that happen. There we go. And you hit the button, go to the next one. I have a feeling that the players mashed it.
Yeah, a lot
You only
of
gotta press it
people,
once.
I was watching. Pieper got confused at the start of this.
And they're underway.
The one thing I do like about racing games is that it's fairly easy to see the exact difference between the two players. Like, Pieper has about a 14-second lead on Brossentia right now. Or has been in this track for 14 seconds long.
Yeah, it's also just you gotta race better. There's nothing hidden about this.
Yeah,
Daytona
I mean,
does have
sometimes
some
I
neat
actually like
mechanics,
this one because
too.
I haven't seen any parts of the track where it's just like, oh, you couldn't have possibly seen that coming, as Brossentia slams into a wall. And that's one way to do a 180-degree turn. I think Brossentia should go to a pit stop.
Yeah. So Daytona has some weird mechanics compared to some other racing games. One is
Matched up his car in.
I
It's really
believe
great.
this is the first one to have some sort of autocorrect, where if you are trying to move straight on a track, but you're not like perfectly straight, it'll actually autocorrect you so that you're perfectly straight, which is really handy.
All right, let's watch them take the tires off, put the tires back on, and I'm curious if it just magically fixes the rest of the car. It does.
Yeah, it does.
You can even see it pop out. That was probably a very good decision for Brossentia.
I believe the Hornet's actually a different number in the Saturn version. It's like an iconic number for Sega, and they reference it in a lot of games, but I don't remember. I want to say it's 41 in the arcades. I don't know what it is on the Saturn version. I love this theme park. This stage is so cool. So yeah, it took quite a bit of work to put this together. I had to go through, make like precise save states for everything, find memory values for where it stores the... I had to put in a special fix just for Sega Rally because it doesn't do it like everything else. Make sure all the controls are unified. Like, there's a lot that went into this. BizHawk had a save state corruption where I had... when I like tried to change versions on it because there was an update. So I actually had to include a special version of BizHawk just for this, just because they broke Lua in a later update. I don't even know how, but it responds with the most like generic error possible, and like it should work.
Brosentia's not tapping brake good enough when he's taking some of these turns.
No, this is all manual control as well, so I had to make sure to put that in save states. Yeah, because I thought if it was automatic, it would have been too.
I mean, that's fair. I appreciate that. Although I don't know how many people in this server probably drive manual cars.
Well, it's easier to like have a difference between skilled racers with that. One racer,
Yeah.
like, okay, it's something you pick up on quickly too, and it's unified from all the games.
Yeah, no, but it's just like if you were to say that like someone just goes through and plays like, you know, just is one of those people who owns, you know, an initial D cabinet, right? I think that may be unfair if you're telling someone else to learn shift controls. But it's like that might be a little rough, but at the same time, that's also, you know, just kind of how.
That's just general
That's
game knowledge
yeah.
experience.
It's just because racing games are, you know, in that vein, so very.
If you played a lot of racing games, you would be better at this.
Yeah.
This is well, also if you played a lot of racing games, you probably these games. These are like all-time classics.
Essentially, you have to downshift. Downshifting is important.
Yeah, there's some tight turns. They get pretty hard later in Daytona. Like the first track is really easy. I love this.
Brossentia is really okay. It's 19 on the Saturn version.
This game is gorgeous in the arcades. This was a 1993 arcade game, and it looks amazing. This was a real early Model 2 game. Oh god, BeoKirby just gets like crashed around. I love when your car just goes flying. Dinosaur Canyon. We're gonna see some dinos. All the tracks in Daytona are really great.
Why didn't you just saying Dinosaur Canyon? Why didn't you memory edit to get Diddy Kong Racing working? That'd be fun.
Because N64 is banned.
I know, N64 why?
Also, this is SEGA. Technically, I think it would have been possible to do the arcade. Model 2 emulator does have loop scripting, but I'll be honest, I don't know how it works.
Probably
BizHawks barely works. Well, BizHawks barely even works on its own. This was a complete nightmare to do on BizHawk. Because if you never worked the BizHawk Lewis scripting, probably the most obnoxious thing for anybody who's trying to do something like this is whenever you load a game in BizHawk, it reloads the script as well. So there's like a load game command in Lua, but it also reloads the script. So you have to have a hacky workaround. Like, okay, I'm on this game now. It's easier.
I mean, that's
it's really easy to do, but
you're saying things. I'm like, that just sounds like program.
Yeah, I know.
I need a hacky workaround is a statement I've uttered like 5 times just today.
like it would be. It's not difficult to get around, but it's just annoying to exist. And then you have like specific things with games. So like the way the memory values handle lap counters is different in Sega Rally. I need to keep track of the lap counters so I know when players have actually finished a race, so they're only allowed to move on when. And like Sega Rally does it different from all the other games, where like during the countdown it'll set the lap counter address to 256, but only during the countdown. So I have to like have a weird workaround. I couldn't just check like for specific numbers.
Yeah, I'm just listening to this and I'm just like, yeah, this just sounds like any of work. This sounds standard to me. It's like, oh, look at this garbage. I don't know.
I'm glad it worked though.
7 straight hours debugging some legacy trash today, so.
I'm sad I couldn't include. I'm really sad that I couldn't include more. There's actually I put in the pacement. The pacement is huge because I had a lot to say about everything. About all these.
Is Sonic
games.
R in this?
No.
I'm sad.
It's only arcade racers.
I wanted to listen to good music.
Yeah.
Game has at
Partly
least
because I was
2
limited to
top-tier
Saturn
songs.
ports. These are the Sega Model 2 games that didn't make the cut. Motor Raid, Indianapolis 500, Sega Super GT, Overreg, Sega Water Ski, which I really wanted to put in, and Wave Runner. Yeah, this is the third track of Daytona. Daytona has 5 tracks, Rally has 3, Manic CT Superbike has 2, and I think Touring Car has 3. There's 13 total. This game's OST is so good too. I mean, that's one thing Sega will never miss on is music. You're looking good.
Oh, Brossentia flips.
It's so funny whenever it happens.
It really
Are you
is.
alright? The car just like
Brossentia gonna lose
goes
more
wild.
time at the pits. Can you destroy your car in this?
No.
Okay.
It'll only move like very slightly slower.
Brossentia is definitely trusting the pit stop. Probably having played one too many games where your car just explodes if you so much as look at a wall wrong.
Alright, Fulla and Pieper both flying through this last lap.
I say that as, speaking of Okami games, the last racing game I watched played was in Kuso. Okami was in it, and all you had to do was press reverse and then gas, and you would win the race. They didn't put any checkpoints in the stages. All you had to do was cross the finish line.
Oh no, that drift from Fulla was so good, and then we were right at the end. What's the 4th one for Daytona? Seaside Street Galaxy.
That's a name.
Yeah, this is Sega.
Sega.
They didn't do that in
I had
arcades,
time
sadly.
to like do something today, and all I get to do is talk about cars.
Oh, you'll get to talk about bikes too.
That
That's
doesn't-
reverse.
Well, that might make it
Wrong way.
better.
There we go. There's the reverse. There's no Lakitu in Sega.
The best racing game is Burnout, because not only when you crash does it do you crash extremely violently, but it also wastes more time because it shows you slow-mo replays of you eating shit.
Oh, there's
great.
I believe that's a statue of Jackie Bryant, Virtua Fighter. I believe that's Jackie. I don't remember who it is. I want to say it's different in the arcade. Actually. I can't tell. Now I gotta look. I gotta know who it is. I'm pretty sure it's Jackie in that one. I think the first stage had Jeffrey. They love to throw in random stuff like that to all their other games.
Oh, yeah, Sega always does that. Burnout 3 is less cool than Burnout 2, though.
And they're underway. This track is really cool, like the whole bridge and stuff.
Right,
I believe this, I know. Let's see. I'm trying to think of the arcade version. The arcade version only had 3. I know it was this one. It was Dinosaur Canyon. Yeah, this one, Dinosaur Canyon, and 3-7 Speedway. Burning up the tires. Yeah, if you wanted a lore about a lot of these games, I wrote a lot in the Paceman in the lore section.
Brossentia sees the arrows, ignores them, and turns straight into a wall. It's a little long lap. 2 minutes for Pieper. 2 minutes.
Yeah,
and 22
this is
seconds.
long. I think this one took me about 5 minutes.
With all the slowdowns, Fulla is not downshifting, so he's losing a lot of time randomly.
You're burning up the tires. Daytona is so much fun. There's a reason that this game was like the big revolution in racing games. Oh god. Just completely just wipes out. There you go. BeoKirby is about 2 minutes, about 3 minutes behind. But with the retime, that's only...
It's like only about a minute. Burning.
We'll see. I think the big decider of this race is going to be Sega Rally. You can make up so much time in Sega Rally. And Sega Touring Car. Sega Touring Car is really hard. Yeah, all these arcade racers really are just so much. They're still fun. Well, that doesn't really matter, but of course they're fun. I think my personal favorite is Sega Rally, but Daytona is incredible. Let's see what I said about Daytona. It was one of the first games to use a clutch pedal thing. First to feature simultaneous 8-player linked multiplayer. And it has a smart adaptive AI. The original Saturn version was a launch title in the West, but was widely banned for being an awful port. They released an updated version that fixed many issues. I believe it also introduced online, because I believe it supported the Sega Netlink.
Yeah, Sega sure was doing online play in like the early 90s, and nobody
the
didn't
Sega
really catch
Netlink was
on until
huge.
like 2004.
Yeah, Sega Netlink was huge because it was the first one that allowed you to use your ISP. Let's see, it was compatible with 5 games. Daytona USA Netlink Edition, that's a special edition. That's like $1,000 Saturn game. That one is extremely rare. Duke Nukem 3D, Saturn Bomberman, Sega Rally Champion, and Virtual on Cyber Trooper Netlink Edition. There you go, congratulations. Here's the 5th one, Desert City. This is console exclusive. So was the amusement park. So you have a cool train.
It is a train.
The Sega Model 2 was just so impressive. Everything on it. It was like, that was back when arcades were like way, way, way ahead of home. And like the Model 2 was really the epitome of that.
Yeah, now it doesn't. Now everything's basically the same these days.
It stopped in the Dreamcast era, because the Dreamcast and the Sega Naomi are exactly, except the Naomi has a little bit more RAM.
Yeah, although going to an arcade now, a little hard with everybody, you know, dying.
They're also just computer. Well, since the Dreamcast, they've been computers in boxes. They're not specialized boards. Yeah, Sega
basically.
Model 2 is incredible. If you want to see the most impressive looking game of all time for its time, it's like, if you ask somebody this question, there should be an easiest answer of all time: Virtua Fighter 2 on the Sega Model 2. That game came out in 1994, and it is absolutely gorgeous. All the Model 2 games look really good. Dead or Alive, the original Dead or Alive is really... Sega Water Ski, Sega Rally, we're going to be seeing that later.
I don't know, I'd say Asteroids is probably the most visually impressive game of its time.
I think it's Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Yeah, that game does look incredible.
I mean, my joke was that Asteroids was the only game of its time.
It wasn't. Asteroids was after Pong. Tennis for Two.
I'm
Space
pretty sure
War?
Asteroids is first.
No.
Well, Space War predated it.
So where we at? We all on this track, except for BeoKirby, but BeoKirby has the 2-minute retime.
This is the last one of Daytona.
Good.
After this, we're going to be swapping to a different game.
How many games?
4. There are 13 tracks in total.
Oh, so we're doing just a lot of Daytona.
Yeah, there's 5 in Daytona. I picked every track in every... that was unlocked from the start. I don't know if there's unlockables. I don't know the console versions of these as well. Yeah, just Daytona was huge, so they put a lot into Daytona. I considered like spacing them out so you'd like swap between games, but
No,
that would be
the,
awful.
First video game was called Birdie the Brain.
Well, there's your reward.
Yeah,
I mean,
there we go.
Virtua Fighter 2 just looks incredible.
It came out in 1950 and was 4 meters tall and could only play tic-tac-toe on a light bulb display.
I want to play this.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds sick. Oh, they built it and then immediately dismantled it. Dismissed as a novelty.
All right, last lap. for Fulla and for Pieper. Pieper actually pulled ahead of the diagonal race. It doesn't really matter, is about 2 laps ahead of Brossentia.
Yeah, Roller Coaster Tycoon, the original Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 is probably like one of the best games ever made. And the guy who did it, writing the entire thing in assembly language like a complete psychopath. Now you can't even murder
I never
people.
said that. I only said most impressive looking game for its era.
Yeah, no, I'm just talking about Roller Coaster Tycoon. But
Virtua
like,
Fighter
you can't
2
even
is-
murder people in any of the new park simulators, and it makes me sad.
Here we go, Pieper on to Manix TT Superbike. Real fast roll. There is almost.
This game looks significantly more fun.
Manix TT is super fun. But I mean, this game came out like 2 years later, so. Yeah, Manix TT, you're just on a bike. This is probably the easiest of them. This track. The second track is a little difficult. Yeah, we're rolling start. We're going. I would really love to play this one in an arcade.
Did it have the bike to lean on?
Yes, it did.
Oh, that's sick. That also seems incredibly difficult to actually do. Because if you have to switch from one side to the other, that might be, depending on how much weight.
Yeah, I
Some
wanted
of those
to
machines
include
were, like,
analog.
really hefty.
I wanted to include analog control on this, but I couldn't, sadly. BizHawk save state corruption issues caused a problem if you change just that. And I couldn't do it on the fly because then you couldn't set the controls for the entire system. It would like reset them every time. It was sadly, it was just not doable.
Okay.
Yeah, Manix CT is like super fun. This game is awesome.
But we're burning up the tires. Oh man, you can jump. Now, how many tracks are in this game?
2.
Okay.
I think there's
These-
probably more, but they're just not like they're alternate paths through this, as you can see. So they're probably like not. They're locked by default. This song is really incredible. There we go. Rolling start. This game is also, we had to include a pacement note about this too.
I like how it looks so much more controllable on everybody's screen but Brossentia, because Brossentia was in first-person camera.
Yeah, this one is really easy to control. Daytona's a little harder.
I mean, this one it looks like you can turn really, really sharp at
Yeah,
high
you can.
speeds.
That's going to be necessary in the second track. Yeah, for some reason this game is like way louder.
Brossentia, you need to upshift more.
Yeah, Pieper is almost at the end of this track. Full is blowing through this. Full has about, still about a 1 minute lead.
Well, if I'm looking at it right now based on time, Soul is up to, yeah, a little bit over that.
Yeah, Pieper has like a 2 minute lead. Brossentia.
Pieper switching to first-person cam and just tearing it up.
Oh, it defaults to first person.
Everyone should play on that. Should have forcibly unbound. To get me out of first
The Y
person.
button, I think.
Yeah. Just like make your Lewis script automatically reject it.
I believe Manix CT is the only. No, it's not. Okay, no, that's if you have analog control. Whatever reason, swap the shift gear buttons.
Okay,
And,
you cut out after whatever reason. Nobody heard
Yeah,
anything
so
you said.
on the if you enable analog controls for whatever reason, they swap the shift gear buttons in this game. So they're normally I want to say they're A and B, A for shift down, B for shift up, but it's swapped for this game only with analog controls.
I guess that's just where the buttons would be if you had like the.
Yes, but no, they swapped which one is shift up and which one is shift for whatever reason. Only in this game.
Hmm.
Yeah, this little town level. There's some sharp turns. You can definitely see them coming though. They're not like unfair.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Like nobody's crashed really, and everything has been fairly fair. And even still, you have a quite unobtrusive map. It really lets you see everything.
Yeah, I'm excited for the next game. Because the next game I think is going to be one of the bigger deciders. Though Daytona is quite difficult.
This is the better camera. ID, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, if I was playing in an arcade, I would. I love how you rolling start. Was Daytona the first game to do that? I can't think of many. Well, I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure somebody's gonna be like, "Hey, there's 50 other games." But like,
What?
I can't think of any.
I'm thinking of what?
Rolling start. Was Daytona the
Um,
first?
I don't know. Possibly. I also can't think of that many games with rolling starts. I know there's a bunch. I played them in arcades.
Yeah, I know Daytona was one of the big ones.
Should have submitted Pod Racer. I haven't played Pod Racer in so long.
But Fulla's almost through the second lap. Is now through the second lap. Pieper is about halfway through the third. Beo is still on the first track, but is like halfway through last lap. And Brossentia just finished first lap of this track. I'm so excited for the next game though. The next game is my personal favorite. It's my personal favorite.
Wait, something sure is on fire today.
Alright, here we go. Piper's on it. This is SEGA Rally. I love SEGA Rally. SEGA Rally is amazing.
What a
Oh yeah, you have to shift up because he started neutral.
I'm just like, I just watched that. I'm like, why aren't you going anywhere? And then it's like, oh, and then you just watch the car like lurch.
Yeah,
It's
this
like you
is
flood your engine.
amazing rally game. It just feels so good once you get the hang of. You just start flying.
It looks very slidey.
Especially like the arcade version feels It also looks incredible on the arcades. This is another one that had an updated re-release because the original release of it sucked. This is one of the ones that had online multiplayer too. Yeah, this is gonna take some real fine control. I kind of like it as a contrast to Manix because, like, Manix was kind of a lot of macro play, I guess, and this is a lot of micromanagement.
What?
Like, you know, macro versus micro.
Yeah, but I'm just confused as whatever comparison or whatever you're talking about.
There's not a lot of like sharp small turns. You don't have to think about every individual interaction in Manix. It's kind of more of a general in that. Rally is definitely not that.
No, this is much less effort. Jack keeps saying you're pronouncing the name wrong. That should be Manx.
Well,
Or Manx.
I'm pretty sure the title screen doesn't agree with you.
I don't know, I'm just going off what chat's saying. I didn't see any title screens. I don't even know what's going on. I just know people are driving a car with Castro exclamation point on the back of it. It might be an L there, but I'm gonna go with
It's an
Castro
L.
exclamation point. No, you're not.
Yeah,
taking
the
this away.
Saturn version of this game doesn't look. The arcade version looks significantly better.
Man X.
3, 2, 1, go! Easy right,
Easy right.
easy left.
Hey, remember Stuntman? Now we have another rally announcer.
Or we're getting lore because it's based off of people from the Isle of Man who are Manx.
One medium right. Easy right.
I don't know. I'm gonna say whatever the hell I want, and I'm correct. So,
That doesn't sound right.
because I always am.
No, that's my job.
Well, I made this collection, so I'm correct.
That doesn't sound right either.
We're going to the forest. I love this track.
Very long easy right, baby.
We're going. Yeah, Castro exclamation point. It definitely sells some form of oil.
Yeah,
Or at
Rally
the very
was
least,
like
enough rum.
one of the first true Rally games because this is the first game where the terrain actually has an impact. In previous games, it just affected your top speed, and this one it actually affects all your handling, and you can actually feel the difference. I believe it also has force feedback in arcades.
One medium right. Easy right. Wow. Over jump. Easy left. Easy left.
There's also no laps in the arcade version, which makes the arcade one really short, but it's a really hard game.
Are there cows on the stage for Brossentia? And those are really ugly looking cows.
They look better in the arcade version.
I don't know enough about the arcade version to say no, but I don't think they look good.
Easy right. Easy left.
And where's, just the random moving sounds?
I also like the music in Rally a lot.
Easy right. One medium right.
I don't like how people are just constantly shouting at you.
Easy right.
Like, I understand why they did it, so they could, get away with some lazy game design, but,
Well, it's also because it's a rally. That's how a rally works.
yeah.
Easy left. Easy right. Wow. Very long easy right, baby.
I've always said I like when my games talk to me. This is no exception.
I don't, because then I'm too busy paying attention to what they're saying. So, how many tracks are in this game?
3.
Finish.
Pieper and Fuller are on the second. Brossentia is now on the second one.
3,
BeoKirby's on the first.
1, go.
It's forest and then a mountain is after this.
Very long easy right.
I think we've seen the gap open up more between Fulla and Beo. Brossentia and Pieper, it's stayed about the same.
Yeah. Their difference has been about the same. Although, Piper's pulled ahead by like 2 minutes on Brossentia.
Yeah, Fulla's like,
Yeah.
let's see, it's like 2 minutes ahead now.
Medium left, baby.
full is about like 3.5. Well, are you talking about 2 minutes after
Yeah,
the
with the
read
read time.
Yeah, I was just like, that doesn't sound right. That's too small.
Probably 1.5 2. Caution, hairpin right.
Medium right. Easy right, easy left.
Easy right, easy left.
Long, medium right.
Yeah, I love when this
Yeah,
guy
bro,
talks
just
to you.
stop losing time when the pit stops disappeared.
Man, Pieper is flying through Sega Rally.
I mean, when you
This
have a
game's
game
pretty
that
hard.
like your back kind of like sticks out as much as it does, I find the turning to feel a lot cleaner. Like, 'cause this game feels very like your back is sliding around a lot.
Yeah, this game feels really clean. It just feels so wonderful. Then we just have Mountain. Bale's moving on to Forest.
People complaining about ads in their games today, but SEGA was the original proprietor of just advertising for themselves nonstop in all of their games.
Yeah, I remember there was some arcade racer where it was like, it was Sonic's first appearance. He was a little keychain.
Well,
They always do that.
This isn't even the most aggressive advertising I've seen in a racing game. I'm still gonna give that to Wipeout because of how
Yeah,
much it told
Wipeout.
you to drink Red Bull.
Okay, Mountain stage is really hard. there's a lot of sharp turns. I think
that
Pieper's
was
through the thick of it.
Wipeout XL. Yeah, we raced that in season 2, and the best part about it was all we did was talk about drinking Red Bull because eventually, after the 30th time someone erased it in playoffs, all we could say about the game is don't hit wall, go fast, drink Red Bull.
Yeah, Pieper is also flying through this mountain stage.
Yeah, Mountain Stage doesn't look too bad.
There's some real hard turns.
Yeah, Piper's slamming on the brake and downshifting twice on a lot of these crazy
Yeah.
turns.
In the arcade version, this is really hard because the timer is super tight, and I've only beaten this game a few times, and I've never even come close to beating the extra.
So I've been thinking about one of those like arcade game racing games, right? That the timer is, you know, basically like the only reason you can't ever complete levels. And I'm wondering if they're worth putting in with unlimited credits, just because if you actually get hit by the timer, you just lose time. So if you're bad, you lose time.
A lot of them are just too hard,
Yeah.
like Sega Rally.
Well, no, I wasn't talking about that. I'd be talking about like, although this game wouldn't make any sense. I just want to play it again. But
There's that game that was like the first game of Giant Troop, but that one was also too hard.
oh god, I
It's
remember
impossible.
that wasn't too hard. It's just one, people didn't understand the tutorial because they didn't know what a slalom was. And are you talking about Heavy Trooper or Giant Trooper?
Oh, I think about it was side by side special.
Okay, I was thinking of whatever driver was Heavy Trooper. No, I was thinking about like somehow getting people to play like Hydro Thunder. Because like there are enemies in those stuff, but they don't matter. The game is entirely there to waste your quarters, and if you hit a timeout, you get a big screen that's like put in your next quarter, but you lose like 5 seconds every time that happens. All you have to do is know what a slalom is, and Driver's not that bad.
Yeah, you can see like the difference in times between Fulla and Pieper. Like, you can see Pieper's flying through this. A 116 is really good on the stage.
I did make him practice a racing game, although I still don't think that one helped much. Although in terms of interactive racers, if if you're good at CTR, it's one of the better ones.
Piper's going to be moving on to the last game, which is actually the one that I'm least familiar with, which is Sega Touring Car.
What the heck is going on? So did you pick all of the cars that...
Yes, it's the default one
Oh, okay.
for all of them. Default one, manual.
I thought you were gonna
for all
pick
of
like
them.
the prettiest one or something like that. Cause like I'm digging the Castro shouting car. We're sticking with that name.
That's also the one that I always play in Rally.
Okay, this game that Piper's playing seems very fast. How long is this rate? How many laps are? What's going
There's
on
three
here?
tracks.
Three
It's
tracks.
pretty short.
It seems very short. I hope everybody's filled up at the mobile, because that's the only ad I could make out.
Yeah,
And
Sega
boy,
Touring
you
is pretty
go
hard.
really, really fast in this game. Like the other games say, like, oh yeah, you're definitely doing like 150 miles an hour. No. You're doing 150 in whatever the fuck you're playing right now. Like this is fast o'clock time.
Yeah, Sega Touring Car is so fast. What do I have to say about Sega Touring?
I feel like dodging the Brossentia interview after this because I gotta race games for him tomorrow. I don't want him to get any ideas.
Many MAN-X TT cabinets went unsold and were converted into cabinets for Motor Raid, which is another Model 2 racer. In fact, almost every Motor Raid cabinet was sold as conversion for TT, making it very rare.
Yeah, it's hard. There's no map, but like this is just. There's only one kind of turn in this game.
Yeah,
Really?
this one probably the most unfair just because of no map, but it's not too hard.
You should have just given them like.
If you're racing better, you're racing better.
You should just give them a NASCAR game, right? You don't need a map. What are you doing? You're making a left turn. You're not doing anything else other than turning left.
That's what the first track of this was. The
No,
first
they're
track of
making
Daytona,
they're making right turns. See?
not on the first Daytona track.
Oh, the first Daytona track, yeah.
It's actually based off of a real NASCAR stadium.
Just well, I'm still not gonna care about NASCAR.
Oh, actually, I think there's one right turn. Here you go. Piper's cleaning up right now. Fulla also kind of demolishing this race, too.
Easy left, easy right.
Sega Touring Car is great music, too.
I'm assuming there were no initial D games
There's one,
for the oh, why didn't you use that? Maybe we could get some Eurobeat.
because it's worse than the PS1 version.
But does it still
It's
have a
also
banger
not-
soundtrack?
I believe that one was also not developed by Sega.
But does it have the soundtrack?
I don't think it's not as good as the later ones.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
don't think
any
it's
of them
that
that
good.
don't have like Deja Vu or, you know, like there's some damn good initial D songs. But still, my point is I want to listen to some Eurobeat. Alright, we had a oh god, what was that racing game that Jal then speedran?
Ray Tracers.
Yeah, Ray Tracers, which was included in the bundle. It sent added to it like a link to Eurobeat, to the pace bin. Like we had
Michelin.
Eurobeat to listen to for that entire race. It was great.
There's another ad. There's Michelin. I think Michelin was in Daytona.
Well, Michelin
That's
is
why.
also on the car, so
Yeah.
the tire place rates restaurants.
This game is so fast.
You don't even really slow down or need to do anything. When you hit a wall, you're just like, okay, back to speed now. Oh, FAO doesn't have the Ray Tracers record anymore. That's depressing.
Yeah, Sega Touring Car was pretty fun. I'd actually never played this one. I just threw it in because I could. But now I want to play it.
I mean, I've played a game where you can get a racing game, Wipeout XL. You can get back boosts off of walls and turn much faster.
I play a racing game where it's more optimal to bonk than go into the air, which is Mario Kart Wii.
Yeah, it's more optimal to be Funky Kong.
Here we go. BeoKirby's also on Country Circuit.
And Piper is
Oh my
about
god,
to
this song.
get into the final track in about 13 seconds.
It does remind you to dot done at least.
Oh,
Yeah,
The-
it tells you.
that's great. Get ready to dot done at the end of this track. You should have just had the last track say get ready to dot done and have it be like a dragster speedway, if that was at all possible. That way people could, just hold down the button and like pre-type their messages. If they hadn't already. Move the mouse over the window.
Yeah, this last track is actually quite hard to like do really optimal.
Oh, yeah.
The road is really narrow.
And you can't see shit, damn.
Hey, I didn't get pranked by that one.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking at like, oh, that's a wall.
I saw that one coming from a mile away. It's also a rolling start. Actually, all three of these are rolling starts.
Yeah. Piper is not doing so great on this track.
But I have a feeling this is one that everybody wants. Well, Piper's probably going to sub my time at this rate.
What was your time?
I want to say it was like 50-12.
We're gonna be really close.
No, mine was 49-32.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Myth did it in 50-50. Jorf did it in 48-30.
Yeah, that's one
Base
reason I
Jorf.
don't entirely. Like if everybody's decent at racing games, like it's not really a race, I guess. Or like it's just whoever can see better.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to put this in early rounds only. Which
And
this is still in early
this
rounds.
Skill disparity. The losers won. That's early-ish enough rounds.
But Myth said like, yeah, it was fine, so.
Yeah, I mean you don't want two equally skilled players.
I
racing
was
the game
scared that
together.
it just wasn't going to work. But it worked beautifully. Last lap.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying if there isn't a skill disparity, it just, like, it feels bad. I guess is a way to describe that.
I guess my time isn't exactly fair because I'm not blind to Sega Rally. I hadn't played much of the other three. But I probably made up like a minute alone on Sega Rally. Just because I played it. This
Yeah.
song is incredible. Well, Piper's about to be done right here. Brossentia about one track back. About to be done with this track. The dot was right as soon as Brossentia just 50-21, good time.
Enter your name.
I love this song. I didn't have any of the audio on, so I didn't know Sega Touring Car had this music. Yeah, that was a really good time. I'm glad it worked because this was, as I said, this was hell to put together. There you go, Fulla's done. 51-27.
Yeah.
Enter your name. I should have had it cut to a name screen after this. Like one of the Daytona one or something. I guess you could just do this. That top left, bottom right diagonal was really strong in this race.
Yeah, and I don't think the retime is gonna matter. The last track's way longer than the retime.
No, Fulla destroyed this game too. That's a good time. Which, I mean, Fulla avoids the curse. Kind of busted out before, but is Fulla back? Who knows? We'll have to see in the next matches.
Who's Fulla going on to fight?
Phantom Matt.
Ah, Fulla should win that.
Pieper is going to fight DOSBox Falco.
That could be interesting. DOSBox is wild card, I'd say.
This song is so wild. I wonder if it has a different soundtrack in the arcade version, because a lot of Sega games did that. Daytona did that. It had an entirely arranged soundtrack console. That's why we didn't get DMCA strength.
I don't know if we have anybody coming in for interviews.
I didn't ask yet, so I'll ask now.
Yeah, 'cause Brossentia is about to finish. Right now.
There we go, bam, 54:05.
I want to know what the dancing lizards are right now. I want to know what they're from.
I swear I remember where they're from. Maybe if I search for them. Yeah, where are these from? Because I have them as
Joined
one.
by Pieper.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Hear you, and we're also joined by Brossentia.
Hey,
How are
hey.
you two feeling?
Oh, this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I
Yeah.
was a little scared because this was kind of a nightmare to put together. But I'm glad people enjoyed it.
No, it's so cool. Like, honestly, there are very few times that I've done a race where it's been like full time stress and full time playing the game. Like, they weren't necessarily stressful. It's just, you were doing things the entire time. There was no downtime, and it just flows together so well. That was great.
Yeah, that was really fun. I love that sub.
Yeah,
We're also joined by a Fullalizards.
Yeah, hello.
Hey, Mr. Lizards. Yeah. See, Pieper, I told you were going to win. I told you were going to win because I never win these races.
I definitely crashed a lot, so I was totally on that last race. I was just checking IRC the whole time.
A Sega
It's
touring
okay.
car is hard.
Everybody, yeah, Sega, you played all these games, and then this game, which just went like a million miles faster.
Yeah, I think that it controls the best, but it's also so much faster. It's just unruly. You know, you're not really prepared for it. Except, oh my gosh, the mud one before this.
Sega Rally.
It was
Oh,
so
that's my favorite.
strange. Like, I really enjoy it, but it seems like the gears almost don't matter. Like, you know, you can go up to gear 4, and if you come to a dead stop, you can get back up to full speed on, like, gear 4 almost as fast as if you actually went through all the various gears. I don't know. It was weird.
All right,
At least
so I got to
that's how I
ask
felt.
everybody.
Yeah.
Personal favorite game of the collection.
Let's see. Okay, what were the 4 games?
Well,
Daytona, Manic CT Superbike, Sega Rally, Sega Touring Car.
that was so fun.
I have to say that the Mud Rally is probably my favorite, but that I feel like the last one is the best and most competent.
Yeah.
All right, what about you? What about you, Fulla?
I liked all of them, but I think Sega Rally, that was the third one, yeah. I think that
Yeah.
one might have been my favorite, but I liked all of them, honestly.
Oh, first person motorcycle, that was my favorite.
Yeah, that
Oh,
one.
yeah,
That
Manic
one was
CT is
funny,
so
but like
good.
I turned off the camera early because I
Also,
Yeah,
I've
I
learned a
did
lot
feel
about
that.
tires, about how apparently I'm burning my tires.
I got that on like every lap on the first game.
Yeah.
That's all? Every lap? It was
Yeah.
like every 5
Yep.
seconds.
Every
He's yelling at me
time.
about my tires.
Yeah,
You're
you had to go to your pit stop
Very
a lot to undent the hell out of your car.
Yeah, like
very
I,
long, easy right, maybe.
yeah, my theory is that I lost because I probably went to the pit stop more than anybody else, but I just really liked the pit stop.
You did in fact go to the pit stop more than anybody else. You were
Do
also
you
the only
need to
person who
go?
went to the pit stop.
No, you don't.
I never went to the pit stop.
They
I mean,
did it. I did multiple times, like
you wreck
almost every
too much-
race.
Yeah, if you wreck too much, your car will slow down.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Oh,
don't.
that
need to.
probably hurt me.
Well,
Not
I
on the
didn't.
first lap. Not on the first track though.
They're there. They're waiting. They're there to help me, so I had to get help.
Yeah, Pieper also just raced better. Pieper was
Wow.
blowing through this game.
Yeah, Pieper. Like honestly, I thought I've got a decent chance. Like I might actually win a mystery tournament race for once, but no, Pieper destroyed it.
I'm gonna blame it on Seasons experience. As a fellow Seasons player,
I don't know. How do you feel the Crash Team Racing helped you drive these cars?
Yeah, I was definitely boosting the whole time. That whole motion.
The last one definitely had the best soundtrack.
oh yeah, Sega Touring Car soundtrack was great. It was
Yeah.
great.
Oh, I don't think I paid attention to any of the music.
It was Eurobeat.
Ooh, okay.
Maybe, except for maybe the title screen of Daytona. Possibly.
Mm.
Okay, let's see. Sadly, this was both losers won matches, so we're gonna be saying goodbye to Brossentia and BeoKirby. But you both
Yeah,
played great.
nothing's new there.
Well, the
That's
great
why
part
I
is
host.
all of this tournament is open, so you can keep joining the races.
Yeah.
Or just watch
Oh,
them.
yeah.
I'll see you tomorrow, Brossentia.
Yeah, Alpha 5. I need to find a way to punish you.
See, I knew this was gonna happen. I'm like, I need to leave.
I did it. So Pieper moves on to fight Doswox Falco. That'll be a fun match. And Fullalizards Phantom, which will also be a fun match because every match is fun.
Yeah, especially this one. Like, seriously, I think this is the most fun I've had in a mystery tournament match. This one was great.
I can't believe we had a 4 for 4 in enjoyment on one of my subs. That's
Yeah.
like a new record.
So
Yeah,
good.
People enjoying a TPC sub.
A 4 for 4.
Yeah. Listen, your rate has improved greatly since last MT.
Yeah, we have had another give game. Looks like it's going to be another double, actually.
Oh,
A
cool.
lot of
Well,
races.
I'll go ahead and let you all go, and I will probably find some food soon.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for racing. Great time.
It's always a great time. Yeah, see ya.
So, yeah.
Great
I
stuff.
knew I
That's
should
a lot
have
of fun.
abandoned ship. Yeah, my Kuso matches tomorrow against Mifa at 2.
Yeah, that's a great song. Great game.
And then no Kuso for a while because GDQ.